Welcome back. It's a new month, and we're back for the new stage races. This month is the best of for everything this year. So each one of these races is going to be taken out of the best of for the whole year. So there's probably going to be about 4, maybe 5 races. I'm not sure exactly, but I know this first one is Sand and Sequoias. I did 3 of these races, and I enjoyed all 3. Now, what I'm doing now is changing my format up a little bit now. I'm saying it so that I have 2 races that I actually review. No matter how many of those I run, if I run 6 races, I'm gonna choose the best 2 and review those. I'm still gonna give the results of the other races, but they'll be in like the highlights right now, where they'll be sitting here or here, probably on both sides. And on that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started talking about these races. These are pretty good races. The first one I'm gonna talk about, I did 3. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is the third race. I'm not gonna put the film of that one up. Even though I filmed it, it was a race where for the most part, I was by myself the whole race. I had learned how to actually run that race really well after the first 2. So when it came to that third one, it was just mostly me. I think I had a lead of like 30 seconds on that one by the time it ended. But on that race, I came in first. Somebody else came in second. I want to say his name was Bruce, and then we had a RT. I didn't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just going to pronounce the whole thing RT, and he came in third. That race was my one race I did that I'm not going to post on here. I only did 3 of those this week. It seemed like with the hill in the middle, it should have been a lot harder, but that race was a lot easier, especially once I figured out the climb height of the tallest peak and what I needed to do to get to it. So with that, let's step into the first race I have here. This is race 1 of 3, and we're going to get started now. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Now, I sped this race up. Now, most races I won't speed up. When we get to the tiny races, I won't speed those up. But with these races, they're quite long. I think these things end up being like 30 minutes long. I may be wrong exactly, but they end up being, I think, like 30-some minutes long. So I kind of sped them up. I don't have to speed them up super fast because it kind of, if I go too fast, it kind of blurs it too much. So it's only up like 4 times the speed instead of like 8 when I have to really compact these in. And that's another reason that I'm cutting them down, because these races, I'm trying to get 3 or 4 of them in. It's a long video, 40 minutes long if I do it and slow everything down. So I'm choosing to do the best 2 and just highlight those. So you see, we came off this race. I came out pretty fast in this race. It was pretty good. And I had somebody jump in front on this one. I think his name is L. Taylor. Now, he showed up in the Swift Leisure, but when I went to Swift Power, he wasn't there. So as we get in the ride on this thing, what I'm trying to do is, I know there's a hill climb in the middle, because when I looked at it, I saw it was like a 180-meter climb, roughly 500 feet. So I knew that this was going to be mostly flat until we hit the Sequoias, where it was going to make us climb the hill or past mountain. But I knew one thing about that mountain, that there was a real long steep downhill on that would allow me to actually catch up to anybody who really left me, as long as he didn't leave me too far. So my hopes was to keep anybody who got on that mountain within, I want to say, 15 seconds. So that way I didn't have to worry about them leaving me, and that would give me enough time to catch up, because on the other side of that mountain, there are rolling hills plus a couple of more steep drops where I can super tuck and really catch up a lot of speed. So as you see here, what I'm trying to do is keep my pedals up to 90, which is not really that hard for me to do. Keep my heart rate down until I hit the Sequoias, and that way I don't have to worry about the idea that I'm tired as I climb the mountain. As long as my heart rate is down before I start climbing, it allows me to get up the mountain, because I know once I get to the top of the mountain, I have a chance of taking a break on the other side, especially with the rolling hills. So as we ride here, Taylor's in front, and I have MTs in this race. And me and MT race a lot. And so I'm riding here, and I'm with Taylor. I'm trying to stay with him just to keep him close. But as I start looking at his number, he starts to pull off from us. And what I realize is he's running 3.2, 3.4, and he stays in the 3s. And if you ever notice, the most I can put out for the longest is probably, I don't know, 7, and that's only for like 15 seconds. I can hit the 3s but that's only like maybe a minute. I can't hold it long. I've tried, and it's so much power I have to do because of my weight. Oh man, to put out threes, I have to be in the thousands. I'm pretty sure close to it. I'm probably 700, 800 if I'm going low. But as you see, we getting close to we're in the mountains now. We're starting to climb. We're at 2%, and L Teller's already right there in front of me, and we're doing pretty good. As I'm thinking that I can keep up with him, but then as you can see, as we start climbing this mountain, everybody starts to kind of get in front of me. Now, the reason they started to get in front of me is because I was trying to figure out just how much power to use to get up and down the mountain. Now, the one thing I did know that is if you didn't get too far away from me, I wasn't worried about catching you because I knew the other side of the mountain, I can get almost up to 70 kilometers coming down. So that's what I was thinking. So as we come around here, I look up, and L Teller, LT, I'm gonna call him LT for now. I'm gonna call him L Teller. I can't call him LT. Sorry about that. But L Teller is doing pretty good. And then MT passes me. Now, L Teller, I knew there was no way of catching him. That the power he's putting out consistently right now, I can't touch that. That's something I can't touch. So I don't know if he got timed out or if he ended up being either the game got, let him, from what I'm understanding, if he's too powerful, they move him out. He probably got moved up to C's, or he may have been a C and just decided to race this, but I thought they was category restricted, so I'm not sure. Somebody let me know. Y'all pretty good at doing that. So MT gets in front of me, and me and him are running. And you can see him slowly pulling away from me. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay. And I'm doing the math in my head. How far can he truly get ahead of me without me before I can even have a chance to catch up to him? So I'm looking at it, and he's 12 seconds ahead. He's 14 seconds, 15 seconds ahead. And I'm like, wow. But then here go the top of the mountain. And I get on the side, and I power myself up. I power it up. And I get on up to 58 kilometers, and I super tough. And as you can see, the super tough, he went from being 14, he's 12 seconds ahead now. He's 11 seconds, he's 10 seconds. And as I super tough, and I don't have to put a lot of energy into rolling hills, he's 6 seconds. Now he's down to 4 seconds ahead of me. And that because, like I said, when you come over the mountain does, on the other half of this mountain, it does all the work for me. My weight does everything. So all I gotta do is just keep the pedals high so I can keep the centrifugal force, which, me being big and I'm already going up over the rolling hills, especially when they're not super deep rolling hills, are really, really easy for me to do. And what I'm hoping on is that MT has to constantly pedal to keep up with me, what I'm doing, I'm not putting a lot of power in, so my heart rate is slowly coming down. As you see, my heart rate is down. It's 145. Even though I'm at 90 pedals, I'm not putting a lot of power in there. It's just more or less rolling of the pedals. I'm gonna tell you another place I got that idea about the pedals is when I was on my cruise, I did a couple of Peloton classes, and I realized that, if I didn't put a lot of power in, it was pretty easy to keep up with everybody. Plus, I did a hell of a job in the class, I gotta admit. But anyway, I'm back with MT, and you can see that Taylor's way gone. There's no catching him. But so I made it a race. It was me and MT. So as we coming around to the end of this race, we got about a kilometer and a half to go, and I'm trying to draft off of him, just slowly stay behind him. And I think he noticed what I was doing, because as I get ready to slow this thing down, I'm gonna bring it back down so you can see the rest of the race. We down to about half a kilometer left. And as we come down to about a half a kilometer, we're starting to fight, and you see I slow it down, and I'm riding right behind him. Now look at our power. I'm down to 135 heartbeat, and we're not putting in no power because neither one of us wants to jump in front of each other. So the whole goal now is who's gonna sprint first. And I was thinking to myself, if we can make it to about 150, it'll be perfect. And he takes off right at 250. And now, because I haven't been sprinting the whole time, my heart is down, I have room to roll. So what I'm hoping for now is that he's tired. And as I can see, he must have been. Because at the end of this, I just had a chance to pass him, and I did. Now let's get to the next race. Now we're going to start into the next race. The next race is the second of the 3 races. In this race, I pulled this race because the last race I told you about, I was just mostly me. This race right here, it shows an example of what you have to do on this kind of race with me. Something that I was seeing like MT do on the climb on the last one. He did this before he made it to the climb. But the thing is, I think he burnt a lot of energy doing what he did. So let's get ready to get into this next race. We got 3, 2, 1, and we're off. As we take off on this race, you see everybody's there. Now, I didn't come out to Dr. P and flying. I just came out enough to stay with it. My whole goal was just to ride with everybody. But as you can see, Stevens took off and he's gone. And I was like, do I try to catch him down and walk him down, or do I stay where I'm at? And I was really debating that because I could see where he was, but I needed the room to play because I knew the climb was going to cost me a lot of energy. So I said, well, my hopes is that maybe if I back down the group, I let the group catch up to me, maybe we can ride good enough that he's only maybe 10 seconds ahead, and hopefully he's not that hell of a great of a climber that he doesn't get no further. I was thinking that for a D-rider to beat me on the downside of this race, the back half of this race, you would have to have, by the time I get to the top of the hill, at least a 25-second lead. And that's what I'm thinking of, because as you can see, by now I know how to super tough when I'm coming down that hill, and there's 3 spots where I can super tough if I keep my speed up when it goes back into a descent. If I'm set up just right, I can super tough, which allows me to hit even the rest of them rolling hills that much faster. So what I decided to do was let him run, and hopefully that he didn't get too far away. So you see Stevens' ass is pretty far. He's about 10 seconds ahead. And I'm hoping the group that I'm with allows me to kind of just stay with them. And I don't have to worry about a whole bunch of them climbing the hill too. But I knew what I can do going up the hill. As long as I didn't let my heart rate get outrageous before I got the hill, kept it under about 140, 145 hitting the hills, I was pretty good. That gave me a lot of energy to get up the hills, because on the other side of the hill, there really wasn't a lot of work for me to do because my weight did all the work. So as we come down through here, we're getting closer and closer to getting there. I look up and he's 12 seconds ahead, and I'm like, wow. And you see he's 13 seconds ahead now, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if he hits that hill and does what MT did at the top, where he leaves me another 10 or 15 seconds, that'll put him ahead about 30 seconds by the time I hit the peak of the hill and the peak of the mountain, and he would have a lead where I don't think I could catch up, even with me coming down with all my weight and things that I'm doing. So I look at it and I go, well, I gotta speed up a little bit. Let me see if I can get us to maintain 40, but for the most part, we was at 38. And like I say, when I came out the pen, I didn't come out the pen hard. I came out so that I could just kind of stay with the group. And he's kind of forced me ahead a little bit, but I'm not trying to get that far ahead. Plus, I have an anvil block. So I'm thinking when I get to the crest of that hill, just before I go under the arch, that I hit the anvil block, and that'll get me started on the downhill. So that's the one good thing about that. So as we were riding, I figured he must be getting a little tired, because he dropped down to like 8 seconds ahead as we getting closer to the mountain climb. And I'm looking ahead and I see him, and I'm like, okay, cool, let us just ride this out. So as we're riding, I'm thinking he must have been riding a little harder than he expected. And maybe he's a little tired, and then this is his first time running this course, and then there was a mountain in the middle. One of them 2 things I'm thinking, hey, if you watch my videos, let me know, Steven, let me know, Steven. And as I'm coming around in here, I look up and I caught him and I passed him. Now, the thing is that I couldn't really leave him. He's good enough to stay right there with me. So my next thought was, well, since he's right here with me, I'm gonna calm down a little bit, since he's doing the thing where he's trying to ride me. And like in my head, I'm thinking to myself, he doesn't realize that if he comes over the peak of the mountain with me, he's in trouble, not me, because my weight is gonna really, really do all the work. So I if you notice, I'm backing back. I'm bringing power out of it. I'm just doing enough to stay with him. And that way I don't overheat myself going up the mountain. It really gave me a chance to catch my breath, so that I don't really get tired. You see, I'm not tired going up this hill, And, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, um, he doesn't realize that when this thing gets to 121 meters, we're at the top of the hill. And that's what I'm counting off in my head. How far before I get into, I know it's 121 meters, he says 87, 88. And I'm slowly counting that in my head going, okay, you keep staying right here with me, you're gonna be in trouble. And that's what I'm thinking to myself. So I'm going, when we get to the other side of the hill, it's nothing but downhill and rolling hills. And I don't have to do a lot. That's the one thing. The great equalizer is the hill. If it gets up to 7 or if it gets up to 8, 9, 10, 11, he will walk past me with no problem. But it's just that he stays to me. He gets up to about 6 or 7, but it only sits there for a moment. It's not low enough to hold me back. Now, if this hill would have hit anywhere in here, would have hit 8 or 9, he would have passed me with no problem. So as he come to the top of the hill, I hit the anvil just one go under, and I know right now that I got him. So I get up and I get super tough. And you see now, he was right behind me when he came on the arch. He's 2 seconds behind, 4 seconds behind, 5 seconds behind, 6 seconds behind. If you look at my speed, I'm coming down. I was coming down almost at 70 kilometers an hour. And I'm constantly maintaining my speed as we go over certain spots. As long as I stay like that, I'm good. So when we go back into another tuck, I power it up so that when we get into that deep drop again, I'm ready to bring it all the way up. And that's what I do now, and I super tuck again. And with that, it was over. I'm 17 seconds in, because my weight has got me doing 60, 70 kilometers almost the whole way there. At least 50 average, probably 45, 50 average. So he's had to do a lot of work to keep up with me. By now, I figure he looked at it and said, nah, I can't catch her. And that's the one thing that happens on the other side of a mountain. If I have the distance and it has just the right, especially like this course, the right makeup for me, it's really easy for me to catch people or beat people on that. So if you don't get me to take me out on the top of that hill about 25 seconds on this race course, it was no problem for me to catch anybody. That's the only reason I did it 3 times, because each time I did it, I realized I was going to really pull away on the back half of this course. Plus, I was kind of, I pulled a muscle in my back, so I was going to do my 100 miler today on Sunday, which I'm recording this video on. And I'm just being real with you, I just felt super, super tight. So I decided just to let myself rest today. Now, as we get to the end of this race, it's just me. I would like to sit up and say thank y'all for watching my videos. Thank y'all for following me. Thank y'all for y'all comments. To everyone, if it's good or bad, thank you for offering the comments. It really helps out on my videos. Please like and subscribe. I want y'all to continuously support me. Thank you for supporting me. I kind of got choked up that second. Been talking a lot today. We get to the end. I'm going to cross the fence. Thank y'all for watching my videos. Have a great week. Please like and subscribe and ride on.